Welcome back to Mystara. I am playing massive amounts of catch-ups thanks to the computer repairs, which were caused by one of the many natural disasters to hit my neighborhood last year. Surge Protector wasn't doing its job, to make a long story short. 3 writing projects are done, and I should get back with the next Mystara video tomorrow. I've got Echo Bass, Mad Musings, and I'm trying to fix the Rogue class coming up soon. But for now, major updates on the DMG. Brian is drawing his arm off, and I've had the playtest for the Demesne system put up. Domain, not domain. Different spelling, same thing, blame the French. But one means cleric subclass, and the other one means running a land grant, at least in the DMG. Funny enough, the domain system and the bastion system aren't mutually exclusive, so you can have your castle and rule your barony too. Go check that out at freemystara.com if you want to provide feedback. I'll put up a link. The factions are approaching half done. I've got 4 videos to catch up on, and first, to answer some questions, you can absolutely join one of these factions. There's no rules or mechanical benefits for joining the Golden Totem Trading Company, except maybe an employee discount. But if your DM allows it, more power to you. They're meant to fill in holes for your campaign, provide patrons, enemies, allies, or plot devices if necessary. Plus adventures. Lots of adventures. If you want to help out with the art, go to the donate section on the Free Mystara page. All funds go straight to the artists, as they are paid artists and not starving artists. I found artists draw better when they have food in their belly. They don't complain. You can also help with the playtest. I'm putting up the mechanical sections as fast as I write them, and I've got discussions going on at the Piazza and the Mystara Discord. I'm currently down 8 videos, so you're going to get these faction art videos in rapid fashion because you seem to like these, or at least the adventures they bring out. And if you're curious about the hat, I got it at an army surplus store that was going out of business. It's a West German sergeant's hat with the insignia showing that it's from the maintenance part of their Air Force. So it's the dress cap for a German airplane mechanic. And stop asking me if I got it on a Tuesday. But now on to the video proper. Daughters of the Gladius. Purpose: elimination of slavery. Organizational type: Phaeacian Fighting Order. Estimated membership: 250. Functional range: Thyatis and bordering nations. Current status: open, semi-legal. There are dozens of fighting orders in Thyatis, each focusing on an aspect of war, promoting an immortal's patron's will. For casual observers, the Daughter of the Gladius showcased the immortal Dialana's trait of courage and perseverance. The all-female order is known for its focus on dual-wielding the Gladius and their emphasis on speed over strength. The small size of the order causes them to be overlooked by outsiders, something they welcome. For while the order is ignored, it allows them to act as one of the most active abolitionist movements in the Phaeacian Empire. The Daughters of the Gladius is not a new order, but it has always been small. They were initially founded for the same reasons. More significant all-women fighting orders were created to give female fighters an organization that would teach them the use of weapons in the male-dominated Thyatis. The founder was a paladin of Dialana, who taught her few students how to fight in the manner she was trained, lightly armored and dual-wielding. Early in the organization's history, their leader received a message from the immortal. They were to embrace another aspect of Dialuna, liberty. The daughters were to free slaves where they could. Emancipation is a tricky subject in Thyatis because there are different levels of slavery. It is far easier to gain the freedom of a slave fighting in the gladiatorial arena, or to free a noble's house slave, but gaining the independence of a criminal sentenced to slavery is almost impossible. The daughters have to utilize different methods because of the increasing difficulty in obtaining a slave's freedom. Freeing a gladiator is as simple as throwing him enough coins in the arena to earn his emancipation outright. A house slave might be purchased and released, but for most slaves, the only options to achieve their liberty are highly illegal. The daughters have an elaborate network of similarly minded individuals that help them achieve their goals. Private citizens, reform-minded politicians, and good-aligned adventurers have all helped the daughters at one time or another in their plans. They are not above using deceit or trickery to obtain their goals. They have framed more than one sadistic slave master to liberate his slaves. Other tactics involve staging a scene where a slave seemingly saves a high-ranking politician's life, and the political pressure to free the slave becomes too great to withstand. The organization is loath to use violence to free slaves. Killing a master doesn't automatically gain the freedom of the slaves. Instead, they're inherited by the next of kin. However, if the next of kin is an abolitionist, the tactic has been used in the past. But violence can turn public opinion against a cause, and the daughters don't have the public support to survive a nasty scandal. Joining the actual Daughters of the Gladius is difficult. The order stays small on purpose. If an applicant does show promise and the senior members of the order agree, the applicant is tested on her fighting styles and beliefs. She's given a probationary membership where her ability and, more importantly, her devotion is tested. If she fails either, she is denied membership. Allies of the daughters are only introduced with the good word of a trusted friend. People wanting to help aren't told of the order's illegal activities until the daughters can fully trust them. Instead, the daughters rely on them for monetary and political support. These activities are publicly known. Anybody investigating them finds them to be a minor political organization with relatively unpopular views. A full investigation would be needed to discover illegal activities. As can be expected, the daughters hate slaving organizations with a passion. They have engaged in brutal battles with the Iron Ring in the past, though rarely because the two groups don't operate in the same region. Their biggest enemy is the von Kessler Merchant House, the largest slaving organization in Thyatis. The von Kessler Company is several times the daughter's size and has the advantage of being wealthy, politically powerful, and on paper completely legal. The other primary enemy of the daughters is the Storm Brothers, the militant fighting order from Gladius known for hating women and outsiders, though open conflict is rare. Organization. The daughters are set up in a loose organization to outsiders. A Grandmaster represents the order as a whole and is typically the most senior member of the order. Below are senior sisters who teach the younger members and instruct them in the order's fighting style. When a sister steps down or relinquishes her duty, the next highest seniority takes up the vacant position. Because of the small size of the group, there are few positions of authority needed. For the group's illicit activities, a member is chosen to act as the liaison with the daughters' allies and coordinates activities with their associates and patrons. This member is never in any formal position of power, so anyone investigating the order will never suspect her. The liaison can request assistance from other daughters to help in the illegal activities, with the only restriction that senior members are never used for clandestine or covert actions. The chapter house of the daughters is a relatively small villa located in the heart of Thyatis City. The compound houses 100 daughters at any given time, with a vast training yard for exercises and a sauna bath. It is closed to outsiders, and visitors are only allowed on appointment. On certain occasions, specifically holy days of Duilana, the compound is open to the public, where the daughters demonstrate their martial prowess and proselytize their immortal patron's teachings. The daughters never give away their abolitionist leanings during these events. The order is maintained through dues and donations through private donors. The dues collected are minimal, nowhere near enough to support the organization. Patrons of the daughters provide the group with the actual funding needed to pay for their taxes, maintain the villa, and fund the group's more illicit activities. Daughters that retire from the group for various reasons often provide financial donations, especially members who gain power through politics or take up an adventurer's life. The daughters are well funded with the help of their political connections. Their finances don't raise any questions among the tax collectors. Leaving the organization is a simple matter of telling the senior daughters of the intent to leave. The member is released from her dues but loses any benefits from the order like room and board. Many women leave the order for the simple fact that training is time-consuming and no longer fits in their schedule. Other women prefer taking their training out into the world as adventurers. Many of the members are daughters of various patricians only there for training, and once the training is complete, the woman moves on. Since members are well vetted, there is no concern that a former member would be willing to share the order's secrets. The members of the group are varied, but almost all are Thyatis women from the capital city. Many are daughters of powerful nobles with similar political views, hoping their daughters will take up the order's abolitionist cause. A large number of the members are daughters of previous members, carrying on a family tradition. The third type of member is a poor woman sponsored by the Temple of Dilana, hoping to give a promising warrior her start. Adventure hooks! Baby steps! A recruit among the daughters is about to earn her full membership, and her final task was to patrol the dangerous Axetown district. While she is in the company of other more experienced daughters, she's still in great danger. Her wealthy father has asked the party to shadow her secretly. They are to remove any serious threats to her while leaving her easy targets like muggers, all without her knowing. Forever hold your peace. A daughter has just been informed she's been engaged to a well-known member of the von Kessler Merchant House by her parents in an arranged marriage. While this would be a fantastic opportunity to gain inside information on the organization, she finds out she would be moving to Minrathad outside the daughter's influence. The party is asked to break up the marriage discreetly without ruining the daughter's reputation or raising suspicions among the groom's family. Training day. After completing their training and gaining full membership in the daughters, a pair of women decide that they have enough skill to operate independently from the order. The characters are asked to bring the two in quietly and quickly. Though the pair knows nothing about the order's illegal activities, their vigilante justice could do great harm to the organization's reputation. Guilt-free choice. The daughters manage to gain the freedom of a famous gladiator slave from the arena, only to find out that the gladiator doesn't want to be freed as his master was incredibly supportive and showered the gladiator with luxuries and favors. The characters are asked to return the gladiator to his home somehow and make it look like the entire night was a lighthearted prank to avoid raising suspicions. Where did we go right? The daughters liberate a gladiator from the fighting pits in the Duchy of Machatos. The newly freed slave is grateful, but then uses his charisma and skill to raise a slave revolt that explodes into violence. The daughters are not equipped to handle the revolution's size as it begins to spread rapidly throughout the area. The characters are charged with putting down the revolt while the daughters try to get the leader out alive. Greater of two evils. The daughters hire the characters to help eliminate a Iron Ring hideout and free slaves they've taken. The group proves to be much larger than expected, but an unlikely source saves the characters as the von Kessler house arrives with mercenaries to recover the stolen slaves. The party needs to free the slaves, but with the large contingent of mercenaries accompanying them, that's not going to be easy. Culture clash. The characters are hired to dig up dirt on a Thyacian noble doing large amounts of business in Darrakan. While nothing the noble is doing is illegal in Thyatis, Darrakan takes a dim view on slave labor. The characters need to find the evidence regarding the noble's use of slave labor in his dealings with Darrakan, and then get the information to the hands of the authorities in Darrakan City.